This is Hoodies. Testing, 1 2 1 2. Just got my push-ups on. Quick fitty. Testing, 1 2 1 2. Word. Catching my breath. Switched it up a little bit this time. A little flustered. You know what I mean? This is 51. I still get it in though. That's all that matters. I'm still getting it in. I still make it happen. But anyway, let's go ahead and do this thing, man. Y'all ready? Let's do it. Welcome back to another dope session of Hoodies the Podcast. I'm the host, the God Rashidi, coming at you live from the Skill Suite. Well, maybe not so live, but we coming at you, man. Yo, let's put one in the air for Hoodies the Podcast. Word. Still catching my breath. Voice sound funny, right? Whew. Sheesh. Word. But anyway, let's go ahead and get into this thing, man. Shout out to you, man. Shout out to you. If you got a born day today, doesn't matter if you fresh out the womb or you been here a while, man. I salute you. New life, more life, man. Live it up. It's no longer Cancer season. It's now Leo season. Do your thing, man. Right? Yeah. Do your thing. Live it up. Enjoy life. You know what I'm saying? You only get one go round at this thing. So make it count. You know what I'm saying? You're one of one. You know what I'm saying? I salute you again. Word up. Enjoy your born day. So just the same, man. I want to give my condolences to anyone who's lost a loved one today. Someone whom you've admired, respected, your grandma, maybe your uncle or sibling or great friend, something like that. My heart goes out to you, man. My condolences. It's always a tough piece when you lose someone. Shout out to you if you've got family who's faring through sickness, who's got pending conditions that they're working through. I send some good energy out to you, some warm, good energy. Send some my way so then I can send even more to my mom's. You know what I'm saying? Who's as strong as I don't know what, man. She's strong. She's a trooper. And she's making it happen. We're all making it happen. You know what I'm saying? What Mom Dukes needs is a lot of positivity, a lot of love, you know what I'm saying? And some strength, you know what I'm saying? And of course, I can't speak for all my siblings, but I can speak for myself. She's definitely getting it from over here. Word. So shout out to anybody who's got a family who's working through a thing, you know what I'm saying? Or family, just family period, just working through a thing, man. Word. Thank you in advance. And you're welcome in advance. I send y'all some good energy. You send me some. That's how that works around here. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, how y'all doing, man? How y'all doing? What's goody? Anybody say what's goody anymore? Guess it don't matter. Y'all know what I mean. How y'all doing? Everybody good? Think we're hitting like another heat wave. Well, that and the AC in the building's been giving us a problem again. Personally, I think the folk who's coming out here to fix everything, I think they're really giving the landlord the runaround. And I know one thing, I'm kind of glad that I don't have to deal with those things no more. You know what I'm saying? I'm kind of in my sweet spot to where I still own my own business, of course, still self-employed, but I'm inside. I'm in a suite now, a double suite, so I don't have to worry about Wi-Fi and the AC, and I got an extra fan in here. Y'all can probably hear it for when it's a little warm up in the building. But yeah, man, I don't even know why I went there. But listen, man, let me just say this: if you're not good, I hope you get good, because we've only got two options, and that's to make it or make it. You could add a third option, but it's the same thing. It's make it. You know what I'm saying? Because the alternative is what? Just give up. When we start doing that, when we start giving up, you know what I mean? Now, listen, I can see if certain things are just simply futile. I get it. There's no sense in beating a dead horse, But we don't give up, and until we're at the status of beating the dead horse, until we come to that bridge of beating the dead horse, keep on going, man. Word. Because like I said, there's only two choices, three if you really want to get down to the nitty gritty, but all of them is to make it, or make it. Dig what I'm saying? So if you ain't good, I hope you get good. So with that said, if everybody's alright or on the road to getting alright, let's go ahead and get into this thing, man. Alright? I want to hear what I'm going to do or say too. Because I just kind of skimmed over some things. So let's have some fun with it, alright? Let's do it. Yeah! So check it. So I don't have a whole lot of media to put up on the screen this time around. This one's just gonna be, I don't know, more so off the cuff. I mean, most of them are, but just walk with me. So listen, y'all remember that movie Fences? I ain't talking about the stage play, but Fences, the John with Denzel Washington and in that movie, the character Troy, that was, the boy, his name was Troy, but then Denzel Washington's character was Troy too. I guess he's Troy Sr. So one of the things he said in that movie, he said a lot of things, but one of the things he said in that movie was that you got to take the crookeds with the straights. You gotta take the crookeds with the straights. He was into baseball. That's probably a baseball term, but you get, what he's saying there. Basically, what he's saying is, you got to take the bad times along with the good. You got to take the crookeds with them straights, right? Another way I decipher that is that live life, but understand that in life, the things that we pursue, just understand that there's a caveat to life. If that makes any sense. There's a caveat to life, right? This ain't rocket science, right? But for example, happiness. Happiness. I've said it like 1,000 times. Happy people never talk about being happy because they're too busy being happy, right? Happy people ain't worried about what nobody's doing because they're too busy doing their own thing, too busy being happy, right? But understand that even with those people, and even yourself, the caveat to that is joy or happiness. Joy isn't a constant, it's not a permanent state of being. That make any sense? I hate when some people be like, damn, Ra, why don't you smile? Because for the most part, I'm a positive dude. At least I try to be. So when I'm not, if I have a smile on my face or whatever, where's that smile? Where's that? Some people aren't always full of smiles. You know what I'm saying? It's not always something to smile about. Shit, even when I smile, sometimes I smile. You know what I mean? I might crack a smile, but still ain't a damn thing funny. You know what I mean? So that's the caveat. Happiness is what we seek. Money don't bring it. If you've ever had a decent amount of, change on you, money's just money. It doesn't bring real happiness, right? That's not rocket science, right? But so here's what can be a little bit of rocket science when it comes to caveats and there being a caveat to life, right? For example, right? There's this saying, and the saying says, time heals all wounds. Personally, I think that whole saying is bullshit, right? Okay, now, if we talking about missing somebody, like in a like from a romantic relationship, if we talk about missing somebody, then yeah, time. I mean, or if you missing somebody and it hurts like that. Okay, and let's throw in there if you're missing somebody because they've transitioned, they're no longer here. They've passed on, they've died, right? Yeah, time can heal those wounds, that emptiness, if you will. Time can heal that. Having lost a few family members, yeah, over time you come to realize that that loved one lives within you. You got photos, videos. Some people still hold on to voicemails from a loved one from years ago when they've transitioned. So sure, time can heal that. Time over time, you can come to realize that there's plenty other fish in the sea. If there's a breakup and you miss that woman, or if you're a woman and you miss that man, time can heal that. Right? That's true. If you can consider that a wound, time heals all wounds. If you consider that a wound, but okay, all right, and if you do, then okay, yeah. In that sense, you're right. Time does heal, but it doesn't heal all wounds, I guess is where I'm going, right? Time doesn't heal trauma, that real shit. Time don't heal that, right? So if you are a woman who's got daddy issues, or a dude with mom issues, okay, and say that you got it so bad that it's affected your relationship. You know what I'm saying? A woman in the relationship, she got daddy issues, and a woman with daddy issues tends to be looking for the daddy in the man she's dating. And with a man, he's looking for his moms and the women that he's dating. You know what I'm saying? That's understandable. It kind of ain't fair, because that woman, brother, can never be your mom's. She'll never be your mother. She's always gonna fall short. So it's almost you're almost setting her up to fail, because she can never be your mom's. She's never gonna be like a mother to you, at least. And if such a thing is possible, I've never witnessed it, right? I've never experienced it, rather, myself. Same thing with a woman. That's a setup, because that man can never be your daddy. So looking for a father in him, how could it possibly work? Especially if he himself ain't had no daddy. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of men walking around, and I'll get to the point. A lot of men walking around out here who really don't know shit about leading a woman. They don't even know they're even supposed to lead. You know what I'm saying? And then even if he does know, if his father's never been around, he hasn't been around any mentors, where is he to draw his example from? So that's a rough piece. But my point is, I'll get to the point. My point is, say you break up with that dude. Say you break up with that woman. And then say you don't date for another 2, 3, 4, 5 years. Time is not going to heal that wound of having daddy issues. Time's not going to heal the wound of having mom issues. Time don't heal wounds like that. You know what I'm saying? You'll just lie dormant. You'll probably be worse off, because now as time goes on, you've probably gotten used to being alone. Now you're trying to get with somebody and you still got the same issues. Now you're trying to fit somebody in your life again. That's the caveat to healing. I don't think I said it, did I? Well, the caveat to healing isn't time. Well, okay, in the sense that over time, my bad. Over time, the process will eventually work. Over time, after doing the work, yeah, you can deal with some issues. But time itself, the caveat is that there's still a process. That makes any sense. Told y'all this is off the cuff. So time don't heal all wounds. Unless it's a physical wound, if you got your ass beat, then yeah, over time, you know what I mean? Your eye won't be black. In time, your nose will heal. In time, your stitches will heal. But, you know, that traumatic shit, you walking around, you know, hurt. You know what I'm saying? And unless you deal with it, you'll forever be triggered. You gotta. So time within a bubble of doing the work, yes, that could heal a wound, or at least help you to learn how to use the wound, use it, bring it to the forefront, use it in maybe, you know, there's different types of ministries. Damn, it's freaking phone. There's different types of ministries. My chess program is a ministry. Sitting in this chair. Not sitting in this chair, but cutting behind a chair is a ministry. Then, of course, you got clergy, and then there's all different types of mentorship that's like a ministry. If somehow you can use your ministry of the things that you went through to teach, use it to teach and use it, then, as far as I'm concerned, it's not necessarily a wound anymore. I believe that is when you can start healing. Time don't do that. That's one of those. You see what I'm saying? That's one. Time don't heal all wounds. That's a lie. In fact, we talking about clergy. Well, we wasn't, but I did mention clergy. But I don't care what deity you subscribe to. I don't care. Your God can't help you get over wounds. You can't. I don't think you can. You can't pray your wounds away. You got to actually first. You got to identify them. Journal them. You know, journal, hey, this is I was triggered by so and so. You know, this triggered my, abandonment issues. This triggered my insecurities. This triggered my whoop-de-whoop. You know, I was triggered. You know, you can't just pray it away. You got to work on it. You know what I'm saying? So all right, perhaps it's going to take more than prayer. It's going to take more than time. It's going to take work. Time ain't going to fix it. The work will. I'm learning that more and more every day. So I'm saying all that to say that happiness isn't constant. It's not a permanent state. Right? Another caveat to life would be sometimes, and I do mean sometimes you can do everything right. Not saying that you're perfect, but sometimes you can really put your best foot forward. You can really be on a good foot. And you can still fail at something. You could give it your all. Everything. And you could still fail. You know what I'm saying? You can eat right. And this is with anything, not just, it's just in life, period. You can bust your ass at relationships, at your job. You can eat right. You can lay good pipe. You can lay good pipe and at the same time suck her toes while you're laying pipe. A toe sucking pipe layer. You could do all of that. That does not guarantee your relationship will work. In fact, y'all have heard me say this before. Listen, you could do just that. Be it top. Be it top. Be it top. Suck upon her toes, eh? My fake accent, right? You could do that. You could buy all the latest crap, watches, bags, jewelry, diamond earrings or something, bracelets, Pandora bracelets, whatever. But if the two of you can't talk to each other, it's a shitty relationship. It's a shitty. The two of you are just two roommates who like to spend money on each other. Y'all look good, but you ain't good. You know what I'm saying? It almost goes back to the same thing again. Another thing's putting in the work. And even sometimes then, if y'all have ever watched couples therapy, sometimes, man, sure, it comes down to how bad you want it. But sometimes, man, I think some of us are out here forcing it. I think there's a couple right now who just might be forcing some shit. I mean, and even more so if they're not doing work, and even more so if people in the relationship, between two parties, and one person in the relationship is trying to suggest things they could do to spice things up. But it takes two people. You know what I mean? That's kind of the reason why a lot of men and women who aren't so keen on going to couples therapy is because some people would like to give it a real legit try on their own. And sometimes that don't work. But what I do know is if you can't talk to each other, I don't care what you do for each other. It's a shitty relationship. If I can't talk to you, that means there's certain things I don't know about you. Certain things you don't know about me. Because we can't talk to each other, so we just end up avoiding certain conversations. You're not going anywhere. Everything's just stagnant. Come on, man. That ain't living. You know what I mean? And not to sound so pessimistic, but that's another caveat to life, that sometimes, not every time, sometimes, I've been a part of that sometime factor, if you will. Sometimes you can put your best foot forward and it could still not be enough. It could still not work out. Doesn't make you a fucked up person. Doesn't make her a fucked up person. It just is what it is, man. And what is it? It's life. The caveat to it. And look, to keep it super funky, just a little bit more on relationships. Sometimes love just ain't enough. Sometimes I get a little older, man. More and more I start to understand, the phrase, what's love got to do with it? I don't know. There's a lot of folk who claim to love someone, but are quick to start yapping about them behind their back. I talk about this pretty often, so by now y'all could tell that's. I'm not too crazy about that. You know what I'm saying? I'm not too crazy about it. Sometimes love just isn't enough. Sometimes you gotta set I don't know. Sometimes love just isn't enough. Sometimes it's timing. Sometimes people can have a lack of emotional maturity. I've been guilty of that before. And then I've been on the receiving end of being with someone who wasn't, who didn't have any emotional maturity. You know what I'm saying? Love, even though I still don't know the meaning. Like I know what love feels like. I know what it feels like. But for the life of me, I still haven't been able to explain it. In fact, I've never found two explanations that were the same when it comes to breaking down and explaining what love is. Right? However, I know what it feels like to be in love, and I know what it feels like when someone is in love with me. I know the difference between that and a woman just loving me. You know what I'm saying? And and although I can't put it into words, love to me is what opens the door. But it is not, however, what keeps the house standing, if that makes any sense. You're gonna need a safe space. First of all, if this space isn't safe, and a safe space Talked about that before too. A safe space, both parties involved have to protect that space. Right? Even from each other. I gotta protect the safe space even from the one I'm in the relationship with, and vice versa. So, and how do we protect it? Keep out negative self-talk. Keep out negative talk toward each other. I ain't no guru or nothing, man. I'm just telling you what I've learned. My 51 years of living, if y'all don't mind. You know what I'm saying? Definitely, and again, definitely got to be able to talk to each other. Definitely got to be able to talk to each other and disagree. Definitely have some wiggle room to be wrong. Have a real fucking conversation. That's hard. Everybody want to be right. I've been guilty of such things. You know, but listen. Before I finish up this segment, it also comes down to frequency too. What kind of frequency are you on? Because you could be a brother who's talking to your woman. Hey, babe, talk to me. What's going on? You know, how you doing, babe? Like, how you really doing? And be so freaking sincere when you say that, right? And regardless of how sincere, nothing. Nothing. It's nothing. It's cool. Nothing. You know? Imagine here it is again, a time later. Hey, you know, baby, hey, how you doing, babe? Everything babe, talk to me. How you doing, babe? Talk to me. Excuse me. Nothing, ain't got a whole lot to say to you. But then, dead ass, some other dude can come along. You know what I'm saying? Different energy, perhaps. Different relationship. Stronger relationship. I don't know. And ask the same question. Hey, what's going on? How you doing? Hey, what's going on? They should break down and spill the beans and tell every fucking thing. Now, is the first brother who asked, does he possess all the qualities? We don't know. You know what I'm saying? Listen, I've learned enough and collected enough data to know it's timing, like I said, emotional maturity, it's leadership. It's a whole bunch of things. I don't have all the answers. But I also know what it also feels like to be able to talk to a woman and say, hey, what's going on? How you? And she spills the beans and tells you everything and appreciates the fact that you want to know. Or the fact that you're trying to know. Now, whether or not she can express it, yada, 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 at least the appreciation is there. Timing and then energy and frequency and all that good stuff. And I hope I'm making sense. I know I'm making sense to somebody who knows what I'm talking about. So I guess it's one of those if you know type of things. Another caveat, right, in life is that, listen, all of us are constantly evolving, changing, right? We're not the same person. Well, I'm not the same person I was 20 some odd years ago when I was getting divorced from my first wife. Right? I'm not the same person I was, you know what I'm saying, from my second and third. You know, because we're constantly evolving. I'm not saying that I'm better than anybody. I'm just saying that, I'm sure they aren't the same. Any relationship you've been in, I'm sure well, hold on. There are some people who are still the same. It's some folk who don't change. All right, so let me just say that. But what we should be doing is evolving. That's what we should be doing. Right? So what I'm saying is there's a caveat to growth. When you start, okay, so when you grow, and I'm assuming for everybody, growth is the same for y'all. We're talking shadow work, doing the work, going within, trying to become better people, better versions of ourselves, therapy, you know, us ourselves getting a mentor, something like that. You know what I mean? That to me is a part of growth. It's what aids in growth, right? Not time, but the work, right? And also, growth is boundaries are required. Ugh, having trouble getting the words out. Damn. Whew. But so I'm saying those boundaries, I have you like not wanting to be around certain people, or if you are, I mean, not necessarily having an issue with them. Just it's still love, but who I'm becoming now or who I am now, I ain't really trying to subject myself to whoop de whoop. You know what I'm saying? It's still all love. I just ain't trying to do that. Which means you could fuck around and spend a lot of time alone. I mean, unless you got a significant other, whatever, or some homies that you can still roll with. You know what I mean? But for some folk, and myself from time to time, as you grow, the caveat is loneliness. That's on the other side of it. So while growth feels good and liberating and free, it can also feel a little lonely. You know what I'm saying? There's an upside and downside. As it is above, so it is below. As it is within, as it is without, so it is without. I get it. That's the caveat. There's certain things you ain't gonna take no disrespect. But anyway, another thing that when we grow, another reason why you'll not want to be around certain folk is because they still see you as the old version of you. That's part of it too. Who wants to be around people who won't let the new you shine? Who won't allow the new you to just sit there and chill? You know what I mean? Now you different, you move different. Certain things you don't eat, certain things you no longer believe. Folks still in your face on some old shit because of how you used to be. Your growth is either going to do two things. Well, more than two. But one of those two things, right? With two things out of the many, will be either folk won't want to be around you no more because this new version of you, it don't feel right to them. Or it's just certain energy, certain waves, certain frequencies. It's all love, man. It's all love, but I'm gonna holler at you. I'm out. I'm gonna talk to you later. Or it was good, keep it short. It was good talking to you. I'll holler at you later. It's a caveat to life, man. Word. Another caveat would be to sound like an old man. Even though I'm not. I mean, I ain't no spring chicken. I'm a summer one though. But I was getting an alert. But yeah, not everything not everything has a deep meaning. Not everything. Sometimes, I guess, along with understanding that along with understanding that we can try hard at something and we could still fail at it, sometimes we also have to accept the fact that sometimes not so good things just happen. Bad things just happen. And bad is subjective, just like good is subjective. Because sometimes what's bad for one person is, good for another and vice versa. But sometimes, but let's, for lack of a better term, let's say bad. Sometimes bad things just happen. It's just what it is. Wrong time, wrong place. It was a wrong something. That's just what it is. Somebody laughed at that. You know what I'm saying? And so, bringing this caveat thing to a close. Another caveat to life is, I said this, I feel like I said it 1,000 times. And that thing is, once again, even though we don't always feel like it, right? We don't always feel joy. We don't always feel happiness. But even then, you can feel bad. Sure. Sad. Angry even. But be careful about how you talk to yourself. Listen, I don't let people talk ways about themselves around me. I'm about to put up a sign that says no negative energy in here pretty soon. I can't stand listening to people talk greasy about themselves. I had a young lady in here not too long ago. No, she wasn't in here. I think she was texting me in regards to 2 appointments that she made for her sons. And she made some comment about how my brain is trash or some crap she said. And even though even though she probably didn't mean no serious harm, of course I was texting her back like, yo, hey, whoa, hey, don't say that about yourself. You probably just had a long day. You know what I mean? You probably just had a long day. You probably just got a lot going on, but your brain ain't trash. You probably just need to take a breather. And I could tell she probably didn't appreciate that. You know, probably like, nigga, they don't be preaching to me. That's probably kind of how she took it out. I'm a stickler for that. You know what I mean? Listen, I get it. Sometimes I won't allow myself to talk greasy about myself. I'm not going to allow that. Because the minute I start getting down on myself about something, then the inner me comes in and says, yeah, but you did do such and such. So you did learn from that. It's not like you ain't making progress. I got to step in and say, whoa, hold on. Chill out. Yes, give yourself a reality check, sure. Just watch how you talk to yourself. Again, the brain is like a computer. Telling you, it's a computer. It's a hard drive. You can program it. Just like you can program it with positive thoughts, you can program it with negative thoughts. Right? So even though, yes, we don't always feel joy, happiness is not a permanent state. Right? I think, maybe content, maybe that's not permanent either. I don't know. Guess it depends on the person. So even though we're not always positive, we're not always happy, the caveat to that is, even then, watch how you talk to yourself. Even then, you should always be the hero in your story. Ain't nobody coming to save you. Now, I'm beating a dead horse with that. I've said that for years. Nobody's coming to save you. I don't care what you up against. If you don't put one foot in front of the other one, if you don't put one thought in front of the other one and change your thinking, you can have Buddha. You can have Jah. You can have Hare Krishna. You can have Olodumare. You can have Allah, Muhammad, Jesus. It don't matter. It don't matter. You don't just become a believer of something and poof, all your problems gone. You still got to work through them. Nobody's coming to save you, so you be the hero. Watch how you talk to yourself, fam. Dead ass. Watch how you talk to yourself. You know? And last but not least, Live life. Enjoy life. Anything you can think of, you can achieve it if you put the time in. You know what I'm saying? Well, you can do anything you put your mind to as long as it's humanly possible. How about that? The caveat to that is realizing we are all going to die. We are all going to die. Which brings me to this poem I wrote when I flew. When I was flying. I was in the air 30,000 feet up. Yo, check this out real quick. Man, timing, man. Timing. Check it. I don't even have a title for it, but check it. Oftentimes, in the air, I think about my own mortality. What really matters in this quote-unquote reality. And if I had a choice on the way in which I would go, I'd rather it not be for some street shit, but for something noble, though. Standing on business for my people and or saving our babies. Because it all starts in the home, because that's where the hatred is and ain't no maybe. But since none of that matters when it's time to die, why does it plague us calling us to live life as one big lie? Then again, maybe it does matter when it comes to legacy and all. Like, how would I be remembered if I just sat there and never answered the call? Never offered help, never sacrificed for something bigger. No balls, not a care in the world, just one useless nigga. And when I'm on the ground, I think about what I think about 30,000 feet up. I can get it down here too, riding the whip or walking down the street, up. Heat up. Because I'm cooking right now. And I realize that now is all that matters. Wow. Worrying about the past, even the future, is crazy brain chatter. How can I be more present? Stop, listen, absorb, and study the lesson. Walk the crap you read and talk, and take it easy and quit stressing. Learn sometimes to sit in silence. Show self some love. And stop the violence. You know, that inner violence. Word. I don't have any real big, well, this is real news. So let me just get into it. I'll let y'all be the judge. Okay. So first and foremost, Shannon Sharp. I think I reported that for his trial or whatever, none of the people showed up for court. Well, since then, Shannon Sharp has settled, actually. I believe he settled for the 50 mil. Right? I believe he settled for the 50 mil. Yeah, I was under the impression that he wasn't going to give a crap. But I believe he broke her off with 50 mil. And shortly after that, the young lady, forget her name, Gabrielle Zuniga or something like that, deleted her OnlyFans account or closed it or whatever. So I guess he retired her. Right? And this ain't even NBA news. He's a football player. You know what I mean? So I'm just throwing out sports news on this episode right here. So another thing about Shannon Sharp, today, as of today, well, maybe yesterday, but I found out today that ESPN has officially fired him. So, good thing for brother Shannon Sharp. His podcast is still popping. Club Shay Shay, and then Nightcap is still popping. So he's got that going for him. Folk are still showing up, doing interviews with him, and I appreciate that. That's what's up. You know what I'm saying? So in other sports news, this one was kind of crazy. If I can find it, this one was kind of crazy. Yeah, here it is. Marcus Morris. He's got an identical twin brother, Markeith Morris, also in the league. I'm not necessarily sure who Marcus Morris plays for right now. I want to say Cleveland. Don't quote me on that. Look for yourself. You know what I'm saying? Marcus Morris or the Marcus brothers. Okay. Marcus Morris allegedly stole more than 250 grand from Las Vegas casinos, as per TMZ Sports. According to court documents we obtained, the NBA player allegedly got 115 grand from the MGM Grand Hotel and Casino via bad checks in May 2024 and never paid it back when the checks bounced. Officials state around a month later, in June 2024, he performed a similar scam at the Wynn Las Vegas Hotel and Casino, netting 150 grand through checks he knew wouldn't cash, that he knew that weren't good. So those figures have changed, but when they said six figures, yeah, 250 grand is six figures. 115 grand is six figures. So yeah, 150 grand is six figures. So forget the amount, right? At the end of the day, Marcus Morris is definitely out here writing bad checks. And I read somewhere else that because he's locked up in Florida, they're holding him in Florida, right? And there's no bond for him, so he can't be bailed out. And I believe the judge is on record for saying they'll let him go if Nevada, Las Vegas, wants to extradite him. So yeah, so both of the Morris brothers was just on First Take doing the finals. So, man, thought the man was getting that money. Thought he was getting some money. Still in the league. I thought you was getting some money. So apparently somebody ain't all that good with it. You know what I'm saying? Or maybe he's just, I don't know. Listen, if you just writing checks so you don't use your own money, you're going to have to now. So they can get this money back. Assets or whatever you got. That's crazy, fam. That's crazy. Let's see. There's something else in here that I just saw. Yeah, here it is. Here it is right here. As per NBA Central, Gilbert Arenas, who's not actively playing, well, Shannon Sharpe is retired football, but Gilbert Arenas and 5 other defendants, including a suspected high-level member of an Israeli transnational organized crime group, were arrested today on a federal indictment alleging they operated an illegal gambling business in which high-stakes poker games were played at an Encino mansion Arenas owned. That's as per Chris B. Haynes. Right? So, yeah. So Gilbert Arenas, who's got a podcast himself called Gilbert's Arena, and I was under the impression it was doing well. Man. Alleging they operated an illegal gambling business which high-stakes poker games were played at an Encino mansion that Arenas owns. I don't know, man. I don't really have a whole lot to say about that. Says a member of an Israeli transnational organized crime group. I wonder if Gilbert Arenas even knew that, because Gilbert Arenas got dough. People who got dough tend to keep company with folk who got dough. So I don't know. Maybe there's just too. I don't know. Let me stop speaking on things that I don't know nothing about. But yeah, man. It's not looking good, at least at this moment, based off what we have. It's not looking all that good for Gilbert Arenas. They're just alleging, so I don't know how long they can hold him. Maybe he can bond out. But for Marcus Morris, it's not looking good. I think I don't think, but I know he also responded. Marcus Morris calls out Vegas, saying that he would have preferred to handle things mob style rather than getting arrested. Fuck's this nigga talking about? Let's see. So he says, Fostar 13 is his handle. Okay. My last thing is, so I guess there was another tweet, and this is probably, another leg from another tweet. He says, my last thing is, fuck Vegas. To treat me like that was wild. I've gambled on those properties over 10 years plus. We could have handled that mob style before that option. Never been in cuffs or a part of any fraud shit in my life, and it's gonna stay that way. I don't need PR to do nothing for me. This is from a man who built this career on morals and character. Never running or ducking from anything. If you know gambling, you can't take money out of casino if you got a marker. I guess a marker is when you already owe money. So a marker means you owe. Right? So he's got a point there. He says you can't even take money out of casino if you already have a marker. So I don't know the ins and outs. I'm sure more of this will come out. And when it does, you know what I'm saying, I'll follow up. And let me see, man. I don't know if I got any. That's about it. That's about it, man. Yeah, let's move on. Yeah. All right, man. So before I get out of here, listen, about that, the caveat to life and all. Even as black folk, black folk, throughout the whole diaspora, it applies to everybody. Anytime you black and you're born into a white society. There's a whole lot of things you gotta overcome. You know what I'm saying? Racism is a heavy piece. Racism is so much more just being called a nigga. I know that was kind of thrown around a lot with the passing of Hulk Hogan. He referred to, he used the N-word. And racism isn't somebody calling you a nigga. Real quick. It's deeper than that. Racism is not you calling somebody a cracker. You know what I'm saying? Show of hands for black folk who's had elders call white folk cracker. Cracker, Peckerwoods, Crunchy, you name it. I want to say Ofe. Don't quote me. I think I've heard Ofe. I'm not necessarily sure if that person was using Ofe in the correct context, right? But yeah, I've heard black folks say all kinds of things about white folk. You know what I'm saying? I can't stand them white folk. I can't stand them crackers. I can only imagine that in the white community or the non-black community, I'm sure folk say some shit in their living room, in the basement, drinking some beers, at the pool hall, somewhere. That does not make a person racist. Racism is action. The person, that white dude calling you a nigga, doesn't necessarily have the power to keep you from getting a loan, doesn't necessarily have the power to subjugate you. None of that shit. At best, all he did was just hurt your feelings. If he was able to even do that. And if he was, you'll be over by the end of the day. Definitely by the end of the week. And you may even start a whole podcast because of it. Racism is redlining. Racism is when a judge gives the black dude more time than his white counterpart for the same crime. Now he got 10 years, all he got was 2. Racism is systemic. And in real talk, black people can't be racist. When have we ever subjugated a people? That you can remember. When have we subjugated a people, hanged them and sold them and breeded them? When we do that, we can be prejudiced, we can be bigoted, but a bigot isn't just someone who's racist. A bigot can be racist, and a racist can be a bigot. Right? A bigot is just you don't fuck with somebody because their views are just completely different from yours. You can be a religious bigot. He don't believe in Jesus? Fuck him. You believe in the devil. I've heard niggas say straight up, oh, you don't believe in Jesus no more? Oh, shit, you must believe in some Mickey Mouse ass God. Dude was cool as fuck when I was a believer, just like him. That's a bigot. Now they don't want to talk to you no more. Now they don't want to sit in your chair no more. There's political bigots. There's all kinds of bigots. And then maybe there's racial bigots. I guess that would be a racist. Right? But racism is way more than just being called a nigga. Racism is colonialism. When some niggas come take over some shit, change your whole world. And I like the way James Baldwin elegantly put that. Just the whole trying to weed through the effects of racism, right? Yes, we are strong, right? A strong people, but the caveat is trying to weed through all the mental warfare, all the bullshit, so that we can be ourselves and divorce, this standard of doing things that's conducive, to getting along and, just getting along to get along. In that conversation James Baldwin had with the late brother James Baldwin, talking to the late elder Nikki Giovanni. Check this out right here.
If the world does it to you long enough and effectively enough, you begin to do it to yourself. Mm-hmm. You become a collaborator, an accomplice of your own murderers, because you believe the same things they do. They think it's important to be white, and you think it's important to be white. Mm-hmm. They think it is shameful to be black, and you think it is shameful to be black. And you have no corroboration around you of any other sense of life. All those corroborations which are around you are, in terms of the white majority standards, so deplorable, they frighten you to death. You don't eat watermelon. You get so rigid you can't dance. You can hardly move by the time you're 14. Mm-hmm. You're always scrubbed and shining. A parody of God knows what, because no white person's ever been, as clean as you have been forced to become.
Yeah, that's true.
And you got somehow to begin to break out of all of that and try to become yourself. Mm-hmm. It's hard for anybody, but it's very hard if you're born black in a white society. Hard because you've got to divorce yourself from the standards of that society. You've got to divorce yourself from the standards of that society. You've got to divorce yourself from the standards of that society.
So sure. Spoken so eloquent. So eloquent. So sure. We are a strong people. Sure. We can live a fruitful life. Sure. You know what I'm saying? But there's a caveat. You got to stay strong. Mentally, physically. You got to stay strong. And I think y'all get the message. I don't even need to add anything anymore than, to the eloquence in which the late, great James Baldwin spoke those words. So I'm going to leave it right there. And rather, I'm going to salute people who was going through a thing. You know what I'm saying? A thing that none of us know anything about. But yet every day they showing up and showing up and showing up, man. Word up. Salute to you. You know what I'm saying? Man, I told you 3 choices: make it, or make it. You know what I'm saying? And look, if you feel like you can't make it and you need to talk to someone, say you know, and say it's so rough, and say the caveat is so heavy. It's so heavy to bear. And say you no longer want to be here anymore. From your phone, dial 988. You understand? This world won't be the same without you, fam. Dead ass. Word. It won't be the same. Dial 988 if that's how you feeling. Dial those numbers, please. Word. So yeah, man. I want to thank y'all for watching. Thank you for listening to me babble. This was real, man. As always, thank you for listening to me babble. You know what I'm saying? Thank you for your likes, your subs, and your shares. You know what I mean? Thank you for watching the shorts. You know what I mean? Just thank you for it all, man. I'm grateful. Yeah. So I wish abundance upon everybody who's watching this. I hope good fortune finds you. I hope you had a beautiful day. If nobody's told you you're special, let me tell you, you're special. You know what I mean? If you need to hear it, you special, one of one. I mean that from the bottom of my heart. You know what I'm saying? Just, yeah, man. That's about all I got. That's about all I got, man. So, yeah, man. Thank you for listening to me babble, all that good stuff, man. And till next time, y'all stay up. I'm the God Rashidi. Word. And this is Hoodies, man. Alright? Peace. Hey. This is Hoodies.